So when it comes to tans, there's a lot of self-tanners and things like that now. People might outsource outside of venues, so you might see different tans on stage. How much role does a tan play into the actual judging?
Well, it can play a big role. Again, not so much if you're at a regional show where maybe the bodies are really different. But when you start to go up the ranks, and if you're at the bigger shows or the national shows or definitely the pro shows, the tans can actually accentuate your conditioning,
your physique.
If it's really light, you can look a lot softer than you maybe actually are compared to the athletes next to you. I mean, sometimes the dark tans can be a little bit too much. So you want to find something that's kind of in the middle, the middle of the road.
Yeah.
But you want it to be smooth. And again, I know there's different products out there, and they have a little bit different chemicals in it. So you want to use one of the tanning companies, and you do want to do, I think, the spray tan. I think where we are today, that is definitely going to give you the smoothest out of anything. But you also want to make sure that you're going with a company that uses a product that is good with your chemistry, because yes, and I think at least the biggest
turn green.
Yes, and it could be because of where your chemical balance is the day of a show. You know what I mean? Is your potassium at a certain level, like maybe too low, too high than it normally is? Is your soda? You know what I mean? All those little things can play a part in how the product. From what I talking to people, it makes your skin skin tone appear. So I think that's important. But also I think no matter what product you're using, all those tanning companies, especially the ones that the NPC sponsors the shows, they all have a prep cycle, and I think that's where athletes, and I've talked to athletes afterwards, and I said, your tan was streaky, your tan was this, and they'll say to me, I'll say, did you follow the prep thing? And I always get, well, I didn't start it last Monday, because usually I think it's a week-long type thing. They'll say, but on Wednesday, that tanning process, their prep, that week prep thing is there for a reason, because it's going to make that color adhere and give you the best color, for your skin tone. So I think sometimes that's where athletes feel like, oh, I don't need to do, I don't need to follow that prep for the tanning. And I think that's where I find a lot of times that that if the tans aren't doing well, no matter which company's doing it, it's because the athletes didn't really follow
the prep protocol.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Awesome. So kind of on the same note, tattoos, they come up all the time. So
if you have a tattoo, leave it.
Leave it. Not even going any more in depth than that.
You can't. Well, you can never cover it enough that we're not going to see it.
You would notice the cover up.
You might not notice it when you're walking around in public, but when you're under those hot lights, you can't. And the thing is, lots of times the tattoo, the makeup base that you're using to cover it, actually takes away from a little bit of your depth, your density, especially for the guys. Because men always have, a lot of men have trouble getting that depth in their back muscularity anyway. So then when you put that makeup base over it, it makes you look even more shallow. Now, don't get me wrong, the tattoo is gonna take a little bit of that away too. But so then why would you add to it?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Makes sense. Okay,
absolutely.
Great. Perfect.